Hello, true duelists. YGO Strats here with this video again. It's not really a you should play, but I am talking about the card, so it's Fire King time. Yep, I'm just going down the list of decks I used to play some time ago that I not only wish were good now, but most of them I even wish had been good then. Or in the case of last week, just bitching about decks that I don't like. Just whatever we feel like here. That's the spirit. That's the mood. Yep. That's. So without further ado, call me Philly D. Let's just jump into it, cause it's Fire Kings. There's barely any cards. I'm holding up like the entire archetype right here. There's nothing to it. And even better than there being no cards, there's no strategy involved either. There's nothing to it. It is all about the chicken. I think this is yeah, there's the glare. There's the glare, so you can't see it. Perfect. The chicken. Mega Garunix, High Avatar Garunix. I could read the card in front of me. I won't. This Garunix here is designed to be destroyed by card effect, and then if it is, it'll revive itself during the standby phase and blow up all the other cards on the field. And by cards, I exclusively mean monsters. The ideal bread and butter of the deck would be to get 2 Garunixes looping and popping each other every standby phase, so that every standby phase the board is wiped and you've still got a 2700 beater. That is the dream. The problem with that dream is, of course, that happens during the standby phase, and your opponent will be making plays during the main phase and ending the duel during the battle phase. So you can see a slight problem. Now I can hear some of you Fire King enthusiasts saying, "Oh nay nay, good sir, Fire King Mega Chicken floats when it's destroyed by battle." And you'd be correct, it does float when it's destroyed by battle. The problem is, there's nothing worth floating into. There are 2 level 3s that aren't in front of me, and I'm not going to go over them because they're bad. One was played in Fire King Cosmo, and the other one I forgot existed completely until I typed Fire King into Dueling Book. The more you know. No, instead there are 3 level 4s of which to float into. The first would be Baring. Who knows how this one's pronounced. This card is pretty cute. If another card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon it from your hand. That is on all of the little Fire King's effects, and is pretty cute. His actual unique effect is that during the next standby phase that this card was destroyed by a card effect and sent to the grave, it'll add any Fire King card from deck to hand. The problem is that has to activate in the graveyard in the standby phase of the following turn. So if you are able to have it removed, then it just doesn't do anything. It just disappears. Transmigration Prophecy, DD Crow, Dark World Smog, I believe was the card. There was always been a number of ways, and there's always been a number of ways for Barong to disappoint you. Whoops, forgot to talk about Yaksha. This one is Tony the Tiger, and is in fact sponsored by Kellogg. So every time you do summon Yaksha, you're supporting capitalism. Whoops, hate to be the one to tell you, because you're gonna be doing it. Yaksha's kinda the best one. When it's destroyed by battle or card effect, it'll destroy a card in your hand, which will often ideally be Garunix, which means you'll be making plays for days, like blowing up chickens. And that's what Fire King's about, baby. Now let's go back to the point in the video where it's a harsh cut and a segue, but I got to include Yaksha. I didn't include Lambda till the end last time, and oh boy, was that a mistake. The new one I have not read since it was released, so let's learn together. Fire King Avatar Arvata. When a monster effect is activated while this monster is on the field, you can quick effect negate the activation, and if you do, destroy one other fire monster in your hand or on your field. If this card is destroyed and sent to the grave, it can target a fire beast, beast warrior, or winged beast, except for a copy of itself, and summon it, but it'll have its effects negated and is destroyed during the end phase. That's actually pretty friggin' good for the deck. And that makes sense, because it was released in CTBR, CIB, Xibber. We'll figure out what that is in the edit because I don't know. Either way, it's released post 2017 or so, which means that it is a playable card for most intents and purposes. This one's phenomenal. It's a monster negate. It'll blow up the cards in your hand or on your field to proc your effects to get all your shenanigans going. It helps the deck with what it is trying to do. And it only has it has 1800. My God! Imagine if I knew what these cards were before I spoke about them. Incredible. All 1800 attack, all 200 defense. And that's pretty important because Rekindling is a card. And that's it for the monster lineup. It's those 4. Again, the 2 level 3s don't exist. Ignore them. If someone tells you they exist, they are attempting to cyberbully you. Do not believe the information you hear. We need it is the present year. We need verifiable sources and facts, and I need my shit peer-reviewed before I can take the information you're telling me about the viability of level 3 fire monsters named Corinne and Baby Garunix, or whatever it's called. No, we're moving on to the spell cards, of which there's 3, because I already mentioned Rekindling. Play it, it's good. Soul Charge for this deck, and my God does it need it. Let's start with the first one that I really, really loved, Onslaught of the Fire Kings. Imagine, if you would, emergency teleport. But instead of emergency teleport, but unplayably bad. You see, this is not a quick play. This does have a hard once per turn. It does need the opponent to control a monster and for you to control none, and it will blow the monster up during the end phase. Yeah, I got that all right. Hell yeah. It's good. It's good. Don't mistake me. It's definitely good. It's definitely ash bait, and it definitely is a hard once per turn, which is a tragedy. But I mean, you need to control no monsters, so I mean, c'est la vie, as they say in places where they say c'est la vie. Like right here. Onslaught was really good back in the day. Truthfully, I think the undervalued one was Circle of the Fire Kings. It's never been phenomenal because it requires you to control a fire monster on your field and have one in your graveyard, but it'll destroy the one on your field to special summon the one from your graveyard. This is pretty versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with it, especially being a quick play. You can use it in the battle phase to push for a little bit extra damage and get an OTK. You can use it to avoid Effect Veiler if you're using the effect of, say, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Bear, which was always a staple in this deck. There's as many things as you can do with this as you can with another more playable deck. It's really quite fascinating, truly. It also has a baby Garunix on it, and that's friggin' adorable, which is why I like it more than anything. The Onslaught of the Fire Kings has the big Mega Garunix, but the little Garunix is cuter, and therefore better. And that message was brought to you by a Melfi player. And lastly, Fire King Island. Yes. Do we have... Mom, can we get Dragonic Diagram? No, we have Dragonic Diagram at home. Dragonic Diagram at home. Yes, this is Diagram for the old school player. Before Diagram, Cosmo teched this in for the effect to destroy a monster in your hand. And much to the same reason that dinosaurs might tech in Diagram, you could tech in Fire King Island. Instead, people chose Diagram because that was competitively viable, but Fire King Island was always an option. You see, when this card is sent from the field zone to the grave, it will always guarantee to blow up every monster on your field because fuck you, why would you allow the mountain to go away? That is, truthfully, the effect that should be on all cards, actually. I would love to see that. I would love to see Yu-Gi-Oh! Evolve to a point where if a card leaves the field, your entire field blows up. Try Synchro Summoning now, huh? Think Lynx broke the game? Nah, man. They broke the game in the other way. It's now unplayable. Every Link summon results in death. If you can summon a Link 4, sheesh, my God. You are a true duelist. Either way, I'm way off point here. The point is, if it leaves the field and goes to the grave, it will blow up your entire board, which kinda sucks. Yes, it procs all your monster effects, but my entire board is gone. And while on the field, it has one of two effects. Either destroy a monster in your hand to add a Fire Fist monster from your deck to your hand, or if you have no monsters, you can summon a Fire Fist Winged Beast. Oh, that's wrong. It can summon a Fire-type Winged Beast from your hand. Basically cheat out Garunix, because the hardest thing the deck has ever had to do was physically get Garunix onto the field. And that's it. I haven't played this deck since 2014, or in layman's terms, since it was even remotely viable, and as someone who played it at that time, it wasn't. Like I said earlier about the Garunixes, standby phase blowing up's pretty cool, but the main phase and the battle phase are when you're actually worried and actually wanting to interrupt the plays. Blowing up an already established board was satisfying, but never, proactive, so to say. It feels strange to say that blowing up the board was never proactive, but you didn't interrupt the opponent, you just delayed it. And granted, Garunix being 2700s, nice and good and all, but it never It never quite felt like enough. And you can see that in the number of cards Konami gave us, because I've reviewed, 8 here? And that's not enough. And actually, one of them was Rekindling, so really, really not enough. Still, when you could get your chickens looping, it was pretty damn satisfying. And in a 2014 meta, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed blowing up the field in the standby phase and preventing them from being able to Exiton on my turn, or, punishing the Exiton on my turn by bringing back the Garunix and then blowing up the Exiton. It was solid. It was solid. Granted, by the time we had Exiton, we also had Honor Arc, and summoning this thing in attack meant that it would be eaten by the Honor Arc, and it only has 1700 defense, so it would be killed by the Honor Arc otherwise. And Honor Arc also had a destruction prevention effect by detaching a material, so Honor Arc kind of sucked, but thematically water is better than fire. And that is also why this deck's counterpart, Atlantean, is significantly better than it, because water is simply better than fire. And when I inevitably make my Mermail You Should Play, which will happen one day, I'll go over why exactly that is. But for the meantime, for this deck, it's cute. It's fun, it's simple, it does have access to pseudo soul charge and rekindling, even if it ain't searchable, and it's meshed well enough with things like Fire Fist. If you want a really dumb, simple, and I guarantee you inexpensive deck, I can recommend this. I just can't recommend it for someone who wants to try and win, which may or may not be to your liking. Truthfully, if you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In the modern day, you have to enjoy losing on some level. It has to be cathartic for you, because I've gone second before in my lifetime, and let me tell you, I fucking lost. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have a joke. Going second kinda sucks. And that's kinda what you want to do thanks to Onslaught. So should you play it? No. Do I recommend it? Yes. Does that make sense? No. Do I care? No. Did I break the pattern of knowing yes? Yes. Is this joke bad? Yes. Am I going to stop it soon? No. Why not? Yes. It's what the youth would describe as poggerific. Bruh. Oh my god. That's not at all. Let's see how we're gonna end this. Gotta love these unscripted things. I have no idea how to conclude this shit. No, well, you don't know how to end it. You gotta get your creative juices flowing. That's I believe that's the wise words of Neil Gaiman. Not like Sandman, I mean Neil Gaming. He's like a gamer version of that. I don't fucking know. Check them out. They're cute, they're fun, they're inexpensive. I had a blast with them. Your opponent might have a blast with them. The chicken's getting blasted with them, and that's what it's all about. It's Fire Kings. It's fun things in Fire Kings. The truth rhymes all the times. I don't have a way to end this video, but I will have a way to say subscribe to YGO Strats. For next week's update, there is a piece of cat fur directly on my mustache, and it has been driving me insane this entire video. So with that said, shoutouts to Ren. I'll deal with you then. Subscribe to YGO Strats for updates, card talk, and got to think of a word that rhymes with talk that I can say in a video. A profile that rocks. Yeah, there you go, nailed it. Peace. Sheesh.